Guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today's episode is all about the CPC preparation course. Should you choose the virtual instructor-led or should you choose the self-paced version? If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue. I'm a medical coder. Okay, guys, first of all, first things first. The CPC is a Certified Professional Coder, and that is an outpatient credential offered by the American Academy of Professional Coders. Okay, that's first of all. Second of all, this is not an ad for them, okay? Third of all, I am not certified. I am not affiliated with AAPC in any way, okay? I am making this video simply because last week during the live, somebody had asked me, they were trying to decide which way to go, whether they're going the virtual instructor-led or whether they're going the self-paced CPC prep. And so they wanted to know what were my thoughts on it. And a lot of people were chiming in saying, yeah, they wondered that too. Like, you know, do they do that? Should they do that? Which way should they go? And so I said, okay, well, I'm going to talk about this today then. The thing that I will say is this. I am a medical coder. I've been a medical coder since 2008. So for the vast majority of my adult working life, I have been in this health information field. So I do understand these credentials and what it means and all of these things. I will say this also, I have never been through the prep courses for AAPC, and I don't have any experience on what it's like to be instructor-led through an AAPC program, okay? But the thing is, with this platform on YouTube, I have gotten a lot of feedback from people who have, okay? And so they've shared their experiences with me. And it really is split 50-50 because a lot of times I will hear that they had a terrible experience with the instructor-led course, that they could never ask any questions, that there was always like a bunch of people and, you know, there was just always so much chaos and they never felt like they had that connection with the instructor, okay? Then I had other people who say, oh, it was the best thing they ever did in the whole world. And they were so excited and they're so thankful for their instructor. Their instructor really loves to learn and that kind of thing. So it really all depends on who you get put with, right? As far as like your experience goes with it. That's one thing to look at. The other thing to look at is your own engagement. Some people will say, well, I want to pick the virtual instructor-led because I need accountability and I don't trust myself to go the self-paced route. So I did ask what was the cost difference, and somebody in the audience said that it's $600 more to get the virtual instructor-led, okay? And for some people, they say, okay, well, I'll just pay the $600 more. It's fine, you know, whatever. But here's the thing about that, guys. When you don't know who you're going to get for this instructor-led, and you don't know how they're going to teach you, you don't know if you're going to get that one-on-one connection time with them. To me, that would be a little bit concerning because I would want to make sure that if I'm going to spend $600 more for somebody to help me to learn this, I want to make sure that one, they know what they're doing, two, that they're going to be as engaging with me, because $600 is a lot of money, guys. It is really a lot of money. And so that's where I would be like, okay. So when it comes to, I have the AAPC website up here, and it says the virtual instructor-led, and it says popular. Of course it is popular. That's one thing AAPC does have, is that marketing thing down, okay? It says 16 weeks from start date to completion. New classes start weekly. Get one-on-one time with the instructor. Chat with classmates for support. And then highest exam pass rates. And then for the self-paced instruction, average time to complete is 4 to 8 months. Flexibility to prepare on your own time at your own pace. Perfect for self-starters and people with busy work schedules. Students average an 80% exam pass rate. So here's the thing, guys. I always believe if you want to get into medical billing and coding, you can teach yourself. You can learn on your own. I have said so many times, I'm not going to say it anymore, but I have the independent study video and the list and everything, and that link is in the description box below. And it's got all of the books that I recommend, you know, the pacing schedule and everything. And if I try to make sure that the books are updated, but if they're not, you can always look at that book title, and you can always look for the current year version of that book. Okay, if I have not had a chance to update it, I have over 1,200 videos, guys. So something's gonna fall through the cracks, but I try to catch everything like I can. But with that said, the only reason that I have that out there is because I know that people can teach themselves, but you can learn from books. There's a lot of really great books, and again, the books that I recommend are in the description box below to learn this. So I believe that you can do that, and I believe that it doesn't matter if you have an instructor or not, because there's people who fail even when they have an instructor, okay? And if you are using the instructor-led to kind of keep you on pace and to keep you accountable for, you know, completing the program, because maybe you don't trust that you're going to complete the program, and that happens. But here's another alternative to that. If you wanted to save yourself that $600 from the unknown instructor, they say, well, you know, you can chat with the classmates. Sometimes it's productive, but a lot of times it's not, because there's a lot of people out there that as soon as they feel any type of uncertainty, any type of confusion, then they're out there complaining that they're so confused, and they would rather spend more energy focused on the fact that they're confused, and they want to commiserate with other people, and that's what they talk about in these little chat boards and things like that. So I don't really recommend like sharing your journey unless you are going through that journey with somebody who is like you and who wants to learn and who is focused on learning and not complaining, which is why I tell you guys to stay out of these Facebook medical coding groups. Even though I have a Facebook group for medical coding with Bleu, there's like 300 something people on there. And there were some people saying, well, there's not a lot of engagement here. That's not my fault, guys. If you want engagement on Facebook, then you need to start the conversation. The only thing that I ask is that you leave it to medical coding and not complaining and not, you know, trying to advertise anything, because you will be banned for that on my Facebook page. So with that being said, there's lots of support out there. So don't think that this is the only option that you have for getting some kind of camaraderie. The conversations that do happen on the Facebook page for Medical Coding with Bleu are productive, I think, because there's a lot of really good questions that get posted there by the other members. It's not me posting these questions, guys. They're talking amongst themselves about how to study and things like that, and how things to kind of help them to learn. So that's on that. If you want anything else from me, there's of course YouTube, and of course there's Patreon as well. Patreon is a lot like YouTube, but that's where I post exercises and do all kinds of things to help people learn medical coding. And we also have a once a month live study hall. So that's always an option if you're interested in that. And that link is in the description box below. So with that said, there's plenty of other options that you have other than spending $600 on the unknown, okay? Now, I'm not saying that every virtual instructor is going to be bad and every experience is going to be bad. I'm just saying that you don't know what you're going to get for that $600. So I am more of like where I want to have control over what am I going to get out of this. I know some of it is going to be like you don't know until you get in it. But for me, what I would recommend is going through the self-paced instruction, because even though they try to say, oh, only 80% of them pass, again, guys, we don't know what the actual statistics are on that instructor-led side, so let's not even go there, okay? Because people fail with an instructor all the time. I'm just saying. Now, with the self-paced instruction and saving that $600, you can take that $600 and you can go and find a tutor who can be with you one-on-one, who you won't have a whole room full of coders trying to get their questions answered, and everybody's learning at a different pace, and oh, I'm so confused, and I just don't know where to start, and I'm so frustrated, and my kids are over here screaming and crying, and you know, I've got my old lady or my old man that they're all, you know, upset because I'm doing this. You won't have any of that riffraff, guys. You won't. You will have a dedicated tutor to help you. There's tons of tutor options out there. You can always make a post on LinkedIn. If you don't have a LinkedIn, I really do recommend LinkedIn for veteran coders or even for brand new coders or people who are considering medical coding, because it's a great way to network. And there's a lot of people, once you start getting connected, the medical coding world starts to get very small and everybody starts to know everybody. So with that said, if you do that on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is free to sign up, guys. You don't have to pay for the membership for LinkedIn. I don't. even though they try to sell it to me all the time. Oh, LinkedIn is better on the app and you can get the membership. No, 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 no. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. But it's a great place to find other people who are medical coders, to connect with supervisors for different facilities that you may want to work with, right? And get to know them based on their posts. And you can always post that you're looking for a medical coding tutor. There's lots of medical coding tutors out there. There are some companies that will make you like buy a whole like block of time, and that way you work with a tutor that way. For me, I am a medical coding tutor, so my rate and contact information is in the description box below. $600 gets you roughly 10 visits with me. So, you know what I mean? You have to decide what you want to do. All right, guys? And you have to decide where you want to go, because there's going to be different tutors that are going to charge different rates. Everybody has a different business model for how they do things and how much they charge, and based on their experience, based on their knowledge of the industry and what they can help you with. And again, I've helped people prepare for the exams, all 4 exams, CCA, CCS, CCSP, or the CPC. I've helped them all, you know, because we all use the same code set. So there's not this, oh, well, you don't have AAPC credentials, so I can't get help from you. That's ridiculous, guys, because we all use the same code set. There's nothing different about the code sets. We all use the same code sets, you know. So with that said, I will say this. When it comes to deciding on, you know, who you want as a tutor, again, try to get recommendations from LinkedIn, or try to get recommendations from Facebook. Some people have said that, you know, somebody from Facebook recommended me as a tutor, and that's happened to me several times. So, I mean, you can really network and find out, you know, who could be a good instructor for you. Because having that virtual one-on-one time with somebody who's dedicated to helping you to learn, I think is a much more beneficial use of your money and your own time, because you can start, you know, learning, and then when you get stuck is when you can reach out and find a tutor to help you. And then you can set up a schedule with that tutor. I've had people do that where they're preparing for their test, and you know, they meet with me every week or every other week, and that's fine. We schedule around the same time, and you know, that's just how those things work. But again, if you're looking to AAPC and you're saying that, you know, you want this person because of accountability, you have to be able to be a self-starter, whether you are going virtual instructor-led or whether you are going self-paced. No one will hold your hand throughout this process, and no one is going to get through this process but you. If you are the type of person that you want to get into medical billing and coding, but the second that you feel any kind of like confusion or anything like that, then you just want to give up, or if somebody in your family is making you feel bad or feel guilty because you're trying to do something to better your life and the life of your family, that's something that, you know, you really need to take into consideration. There's a lot of people that are affected by people who study medical billing and coding, because sometimes if you are not studying properly and you start neglecting your family, then that breeds resentment. Okay, I've always recommended that you study for a minimum of 30 minutes, a maximum of 1 hour at a time, and then you take a break. And to me, that's a good way so that you are still able to be available to your family and to your loved ones, so that there's not that resentment and there's not going to be that resistance for you to finish because, oh, all of a sudden your family doesn't support you because you're not around. There's no reason to not be around, guys, just because you're trying to study, okay? And studying and going through a program like this and completing it is a great example for those around you, for your friends, for your children, you know. And so that's something else that you can consider when you're thinking about, okay, well, I'm going to do this course and, you know, I'm going to prepare myself, and you know, we're going to do it this way. So whatever you decide to do is whatever happens. But it is not a reason to give up, and it is not a reason to just throw everything away just because you get frustrated with the instructor. Maybe the instructor's not helping you. In that case, then you need to go and find a tutor. Because even if you pay that $600 extra and it doesn't work out with that instructor, you can always supplement your learning with a private tutor, okay? And so again, the rates on these tutors is going to vary. So really look and see if you can get the best recommendations that you can, and do your research before you go and hire somebody, okay? But sometimes that's all you need. And sometimes it may be just somebody explaining to you one time or two times or three times or whatever. I do not set a, like, you have to have this many sessions with me. I don't do that. If you hired me once and that was all you needed, that's totally fine. My sessions are 1 hour at a time minimum. Okay, if you only want to do half an hour, you're still paying for that full hour. So just so you know, we meet over Zoom, so you can see me, I can see you, we can share screens, and I have all the books that I need and everything to help you as well. The one thing that I will say that I don't do as a tutor is I don't do lessons. A lot of times people will show up and not know, like, oh, they were thinking that I was going to do a lesson for them. No, lessons and tutoring is two different things. Lessons is something that's more along the lines of somebody's going to go through a whole program with you, and that's not what I do. I explain, like, the answers to, like, the questions that you want to know, like, okay, well, I'm not quite understanding sequencing, and so we'll go over that. I'm not quite understanding the integumentary system. Okay, well, we'll go over that coding. And so that's what I do as a tutor, is I explain what is confusing you and hopefully help you get you back on the right track, and that way you know which way to go. Okay, so that's what I will say about that. But yes, it's a lot of responsibility, and sometimes it's not always the most fun thing. It's not always the most fun thing to be learning all of this stuff. It's a lot, and it gets overwhelming for sure. But if you are taking it in stride and you're taking it 30 minutes at a time, 1 hour at a time, you're taking a break, you're coming back to it, that's going to make all the difference in the world. Versus a person who says, well, I'm going to cram for 8 hours and then, I'm going to take the week off and then cram again for another 10 hours. Get out of here. Because that is just too much on your brain, doing that all at one time, when you can split it up. You can listen to things. You can watch videos on YouTube about anatomy and medical terminology and pathophysiology and HIPAA, okay? These things are all easy to Google. They're all easy to just punch into the search engine and be able to find those things. I'm not listing anything in specifics, any specific channels or any of those things, any specific links, because you guys can start doing that. You guys can do your research. It's very easy. Google has made it so simple to be able to do all of that. And when I get questions like that, like the spoon feeding questions, it's very disheartening when I get those, because that's not the real world. The real world will be very cut and dry. If you don't know the answer, and if you don't find the answer and you're wrong, everything is on you. It's not on, oh, so-and-so told me and so-and-so said this. No, it's on you. And I don't say these things to scare y'all. I say it to prepare you. I don't want people to go out there ill-prepared. And there's a lot of these schools that, they want to sell a dream, because if you told people how hard you had to study to learn medical billing and coding, there would be a lot of people who would not pursue it, okay? Because we have to know what doctors know while never having gone to medical school. That's my saying. I say that, and it's true, because we have to be able to read and understand their documentation, even though they use complex words. And for you to say, oh, well, I'm not a doctor, so I don't understand, it's a load of crap, because you are a medical coder. You have to understand, and you have to be able to critically think. And there's a lot of that non-critical thinking out there that people are trying to do, and that just does not work, okay? That's what all I'm going to say on that one. But like I said, if you want to go through Instructor-Led and your instructor is great, good. If you don't like the chat boards, or the chat boards in those, virtual classes, they're just a lot of complaining, then you need to remove yourself from that situation, because listening to those complaints can fester in you, and you want to eliminate all kinds of negativity around you. For me, if I am around a negative person, I immediately want to remove myself from the situation, because I don't like negativity. It sucks the energy right out of me, and I can't stand it, because to me, there's no need for it, especially if it's based on ignorance. Okay, so that's what I'm going to say about that. But anyway, like I said, sometimes when you get into these these chat groups, and oh, it's for support and everything. They're just in there commiserating. So watch who you're surrounding yourself with. And again, and I will say this before I wrap it up, if you're out there announcing to the whole world and you're talking about, you know, oh, I'm doing medical billing and coding, you're inviting a lot of people and their opinions that don't have any merit, opinions that they have no idea what they're talking about. And sometimes if you're not strong enough, it can seep into your energy. So just be careful. And I tell people all the time, you need to move in silence, because there's going to be people who will be jealous of you. It will be people who are close to you. It will be your best friends. It could be your relatives. So you want to be careful about who you're sharing your journey with. A lot of times people will tell me, well, Bleu, I find community here on your channel because, you know, I don't tell my friends about it, but these are other people who on your channel who are trying to get into medical coding or in medical coding. And so they're able to make connections that way. And that's great. If that's what you want to do, fine, you know, but at the same time, just be careful who you share your journey with. And again, move in silence until you've completed everything. And then you could say, yes, I did this. Yes, I've done this. Or yes, you know, here we go, you know, because you don't want people trying to discourage you and they know nothing about what they do. Okay, about what we do is actually what I'm trying to say. So anyway, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. But thank you so much for joining me. If this video helped you, please like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.